How does Congress delegate power? Who can make agency decisions? What impact might this have on telephone and internet services? The U.S. Supreme Court considered these very questions in Federal Communications Commission v. Consumers Research decided on June 27, 2025. Welcome to Day 6 of Breaking Down the Brief. I'm Allison, a current internet issue voter. This August, as Congress is in recess, we're providing nonpartisan, accessible explanations of recent Supreme Court decisions. In the next 3 minutes, let's break down this case. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, was established in 1934 to oversee phone and internet services throughout the United States. In the 1996 Telecommunications Act, Congress had the FCC create the Universal Service Fund to increase accessibility of services to low-income areas, rural areas, and educational facilities. The fund is supported by provider contributions based on revenue levels. The FCC works with private entity Universal Service Administration Company, USAC, to calculate these amounts. Consumers Research raised 2 main arguments. First, that Congress violated the Nondelegation Doctrine, a separation of powers principle preventing Congress from delegating its legislative responsibilities to other branches of government or private entities. Second, that FCC's delegation of authority to private entity USAC to help oversee the Universal Service Fund was also unconstitutional. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit did not find any constitutional violation. The court determined that there was no improper delegation of government authority from Congress to the FCC or from the FCC to the USAC. The U.S. Supreme Court focused on 2 core issues of this case. Was it unconstitutional for Congress to grant FCC power to collect the fund? And was it unconstitutional for the FCC to allow private entity USAC determine the collection amounts? In a 6-3 ruling, the court held that no, there was no constitutional violation for either grant of authority. The court evaluated the non-delegation doctrine by applying the intelligible principle test. Here, the court found that Congress adequately guided and constrained the FCC's discretion. In evaluating the statutory scheme, the Telecommunications Act of 1996, Congress directed the FCC to collect sufficient contributions from providers for the Universal Service Fund. Additionally, Congress specified which areas the fund would cover and how those programs would be subsidized. Furthermore, the court found that FCC's use of USAC was constitutional because the FCC provided the formulas, approved proposed figures, and made final decisions on concluding calculations. The USAC operates under clearly established authority of the FCC. This case raises key questions about delegating power between branches of government as well as between public and private entities. As these legal battles continue, here are some sources for further exploration. Thank you for joining us for Day 6 of Breaking Down the Brief. Follow Issue Voter to stay up to date with more Supreme Court cases. Issue Voter is a nonpartisan platform that makes civic engagement accessible, efficient, and impactful. Visit issuevoter.org to learn more, sign up to stay up to date with legislation, and make your voice heard.